Today a review that you asked me to do. You want to see the Lynk & Co 08, a plug-in hybrid SUV that is a sister model to the Volvo XC70, new SUV already introduced to the Chinese market actually. And also the question, this one here is available at least 20,000 euros less expensive than a BMW X3, Mercedes GLC, Audi Q5 in the plug-in hybrid versions. So the question is, what do you get for this price here? And also promised at least 200 kilometers of range, pure electric with this one. And I can already tell you, it can be even more than that, but it can also be less than that depending on the conditions. We'll take it on the German Autobahn, do high-speed testing, VMAX as well, and really find out how good is it. With Thomas and Autogefühl in 4K, full screen, full length. Let's go with the Lynk & Co 08. That's also how you officially pronounce it. And it is also somewhat, because you maybe see that, a plug-in hybrid sister to the Zeekr 7X, to the all-electric model. So yeah, all from the same Geely corporation, like Volvo, they belong also to them. Daytime running light here. It's drawn all the way alongside, looks very interesting, and this is also where the turning indicator appears. By the way, after this review, there's also in the video description or the pinned comment a link, and that leads to the Lynk & Co website where you can register yourself for test drives, because then you can give us feedback after test driving yourself. They are a pretty new brand, and that's why I have asked us to integrate this link there. And yeah, looking forward to your feedback then after you have taken a test ride yourself. But now, first listen to what I have to say about this very interesting vehicle. And you can see side profile with large wheels, 21 inch. These are belonging to the high trim level. 19 inch would be in the lower trim level. And the length is 4 meters 82 or 190 inches. Once again, modern upright design. Also here, Range Rover has been using this design trend. Recently also Renault Clio here, that you don't have a frame in the lower parts. So also going into the new recent BMW design language, being more monolithic actually, very interesting. High gloss, the wheel arches, also quite elegant. It's always front wheel drive in Europe so far. In China there's also an all-wheel drive version available so far, but here in the European market, the front wheel drive version, 6.8 seconds in the acceleration figure, combined with the power of the combustion engine and the electric motor. I'll soon also take a look under the hood. Then pretty cool design in the rear with the light that goes all the way through. The turning indicators are also cascading, and it doesn't look like that, but they have cleverly integrated the rear wiper. It just goes, you know, from underneath and then wipes the rear clean. So that's also something that you have asked me quite often, if cars still have a rear wiper, because more and more vehicles do not have one. It's also a very interesting aspect, definitely. Or what do you think? This is also about the battery. Charging here, 11 kilowatt AC, 85 kilowatt DC, 33 minutes, 10 to 80% state of charge. And yeah, you can talk about that in a plug-in hybrid vehicle, because this one here has a 40 kilowatt hour battery for a plug-in hybrid. That's huge, comparing a BMW X3 plug-in hybrid, 20 kilowatt hours. So this is like double the capacity, whereas you pay at least 20,000 euros less. So then the question is this one a real, yeah, like a great deal, you know? And also, what about the real concise electric range? We will do different driving tests today. We will test the fuel consumption on the pure petrol. We will also test the electric consumption when we drive only electric at 100 kilometers an hour and also at 120 kilometers an hour. And I can already tell you, the results will be very, very interesting and super surprising to me as well. Then here under the hood, in this case of course no frunk because it's a plug-in hybrid. This here a 1.5 liter 4-cylinder petrol engine, and very extensive dampening here also under the hood, so like the sound insulation, that's what I mean. So that's also good, and I can only stress it that it's really silent. You hardly hear that engine when it's on. Different driving modes, I'll also elaborate on that when we drive the car very soon. The Chinese available version would also have an additional electric motor in the rear. Let's see if that comes to our market also at the later stage. They already have smaller models like Lynk & Co 01, 02. These are more similar to, like on a technology base, to the Volvo XC40, for example. And this one then here, also similar to the Volvo XC70. As I said, a newly introduced SUV model. Volvo takes this one as an SUV now, not as a crossover station wagon. Also very interesting. Yeah, looking forward to the performance of this one here. And another thing that's also quite astonishing is that especially manufacturers have background in China with Chinese customers. They often put like a battery saving mode in the vehicle, that you can keep the battery at a certain level. And the reason behind is that the Chinese manufacturers, they never used to have large, very powerful petrol engines. And so they want to keep power in the battery, that you always have the full power available. But if you want to do that, or if you want to drive it all electric first and then recharge again and maybe deplete the battery first, that's actually up to you. You can also adjust that in the infotainment system. So different approaches depending on the different use case. But very unusual that we have such a large battery in a plug-in hybrid vehicle, whereas you even pay less money for it than for the competition. Now to the interior, and with the beautiful key fob here. So that's a cool design. On the side here, you can open or close it. Then you can see flush door handles. And they come in and out, and a lot of manufacturers have been doing these here. I gotta say though, they will disappear in a couple of years, because in China there's a new law, I think beginning from 2027, where they actually forbid these, although the trend originally came from China, because a couple of years ago designers told me they couldn't sell any car in China without these flush door handles because they look so modern, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. But they will disappear again. And I'm also a fan of just classic door handles. But here then, when they fold out, then they're like manual and give you a nice feedback. And there's no frame in the lower part, as I said, and frameless doors as well. At the same time, you have quite good sound design here for the doors. There we go. That's why I don't like them that much. Yeah, and also pretty cool in the rear, so it's very seldom rare that we have the frameless doors, but they still sound good. It's no dual insulation here, however, but we'll talk about the installation on the motorway very soon. Interesting detail here as well, here from the outside of the speaker. You have another logo here. This is also a nice detail they went for here. And we know them from Volvo or Polestar, from the Geely Corporation. Here they also have this almost frameless side mirrors, which look pretty cool. At the same time, they are very large and visible. Then inside of the doors, here we have this interesting honeycomb structure on the inside, yet at the same time it is soft here and a soft touch, and we have a transition here for the grab handle on the inside. 8 speaker standard, optional here with the more trim Harman Kardon sound system. 23 speakers and sound pretty cool. You have already ambient lighting here in the background and classic window lever control. And also for the side mirrors, I really appreciate that, because there are so complicated solutions out there. Soft touch here also for the elbow. Maybe here it could be a little bit softer, but the surface itself is actually pretty cool, neoprene-alike. This is the electronic door opener. However, there's an easy to see fail-safe manual one as well. No fabric here on the inside of the doors. It's maybe the only thing that is missing. A nice entry sill badge here. Then, oh, by the way, one detail here. When I have very long feet, and this area here where I put my feet on the left side, that could be a little bit longer but this just for long feet like I have, like 47.5. Then the steering wheel here, Lynk & Co logo. This is the button then for the voice control, or you can also say, hey Frank. Yeah, I'm honest with that. I'll soon comment on that as well. Then rear buttons at the steering wheel, for example, to use the cruise control. The right side then to control the digital instruments, also a favorite button. Also classic control here for the wipers and for the indicators and so on. Also here this honeycomb structure, a little bit softened up for the dashboard, more ambient light integration. Digital instruments, horizontal style, clear to read. And really interesting seats here. They look amazing indeed with the contrast stitching. Then you have here a hybrid leather bed, which is really super soft, both from the surface, but also when you press and see like how deep they are. And also here and then with microfiber inserts. The base seats, they would also be perforated leatherette, but then you don't have the microfiber inserts. Here in the more trim, you also have these additional microfiber inserts, and you also have the seat ventilation and seat massage, so some more options. And yeah, this is everything you need. The whole vehicle here, steering wheel, seats, all animal free. High grade leatherette is really great quality, gotta say that, and combination with the seat ventilation. So you got the all you need package basically, and they're indeed very comfortable. Electric control here also with additional lumbar support, but they already have like an inbuilt, you know, quite good lumbar support, I have to say. You can save the position and with a user account, and with 189 6'2", there's also some headroom left. Steering wheel has a manual control, in and out, up and down. It's also smooth here from the processing. So yeah, I mean, I already know the price, and we're soon going to talk about the pricing, and I am astonished what they can offer in build quality at that price. This is, yeah, it seems to be the thing about this vehicle. Then welcome here to this cockpit. One more detail about the seat, by the way. Here you can also put this one here up and down. There's a button behind it, and also the head restraints, really soft material, and yeah, this golden look, it looks extremely elegant. And you really have to say, especially if you compare the recent German competitors, BMW X3, Mercedes GLC, Audi Q5, they somehow downgraded the interior, and this is here, I would say, from the interior build quality, I would say this is segment leading indeed. I think in this segment here, or maybe even in general for an SUV, and especially at that price, I've never seen a vehicle that has this high build quality and elegance. And yeah, I'm really surprised. The only comparable vehicle would be the Zeekr 7X. And yeah, you see where this is going. They are pretty much related. These both vehicles come from the same Geely corporation. So interior build quality from the look and feel, this is the strength of this vehicle, and also the Zeekr 7X, and we see it basically everywhere. Here also with this honeycomb structure on dashboard, here slightly soft, and here this neoprene structure. Beautiful ambient lighting, you can switch the color, you can also let it move according to the music. Middle console here is also the soft material, which is a little bit dampened for the knee, for example. And then here, this is a slider, which is also feeling really solid. Cup holders, they can move in or out. As for that, that's interesting. I thought it's a trash bin. No, it's a pictogram for a coffee cup here. Actually, interesting.
Trash.
Yeah. It all, like the pictogram of a coffee cup looks similar to a pictogram of a trash can. I just realized. Interesting, right? But they are then also adaptive. Then in the front, there's this closed pad here, left side also for inductive charging. It's not ventilated though, so the phone then might overheat. Then here, split armrest. Could be maybe a little bit softer for your elbow. Then here, I sometimes feel like, I can press this one, the Lynk & Co logo button here, but no, the button is here in the front. Split opening, and then I put our phones here for the shooting. 27 watt on the left side and 60 watt of USB-C charging on the right side. So yeah, this also easily powers a MacBook. Glove box is here. There is no separate button. On the one hand, it's more complicated. It has the advantage though, you maybe also know it from Tesla, that you can also activate a glove box lock, that you can only open it when you yourself with the key you are in the vehicle. And I have the slide down menu here from the top, and then I can press this button, and then the glove box is opening, and I just stored everything here. It's also like a first aid kit here stored in the, at this moment. And this drop-down menu, I'll also talk about it later, is also where they want to introduce future features. For example, deactivating the speed chime EU law thing, because at this moment that's a little bit, still complicated to deactivate. So software side, they have to improve some more things. For example, also when you're parking in and out. And for example, in the sound settings, I already have the, where is it? The, like for the parking assist, I have the sound set to low, but still it's extremely loud. So I wonder how it is on high. That's something they need to fix on the software side. I talked to the product manager. He also said there will be some software updates coming up soon, after our shooting here. They say, hey, with the beeping sound, and yeah, maybe that would be something that they also fix, that the park assist sound would be, you know, less noisy. That would be something. Now the interesting thing comes. They have improved this vehicle bit by bit also with the customers, and that is actually here, this collab. And I could do just the following now. So continue, and now I can press record and share an idea directly with Lynk & Co. The parking sounds are too loud. They need to be more silent. So, and now I can just send it to them. And I mean, this is priceless, and I wonder why not more manufacturers have done that so far. This is absolutely priceless for a manufacturer. Of course, you need also the staff to be able to process that. But I mean, how good is that if you have customers who are interested in making your product better for free, and then you get that feedback? I mean, that's, every manufacturer has to see this part of the video, definitely. They're not the first manufacturers to do that. NIO is doing that as well. This is an amazing thing, and they have said that they have also introduced some of the shortcuts here, for example, according to this feedback. And yeah, for example, here they have a shortcut to split open the roof in the front, but that's just like the tilt. And I wonder, why isn't there the shortcut for completely opening of the sunroof? Because that is also deeply hidden into the menu, this sunroof opening. And so at this moment, it's easier to do it with the voice control. And you can press this button here or say, hey Frank,
hello,
open the sunroof.
Okay, open sunroof.
So you can see the sunroof is opening now also with the shade, and it is still one you can actually really open, and that is also rare. And what you can also do, let's say, hey Frank,
I'm here.
Close the sunroof, but open the sun blind.
Okay.
Okay, that doesn't work, but let's see if it does that now. After that, maybe I have to do it.
Hello.
Open the sun blind.
Okay.
Okay, so now we only have the sun blind opening and then the roof closed. And I asked the product manager as well when he said like, hey Frank, is that Frank Drabin? And he said yes. And I was like, okay, I take that as a word. So yeah, you are always talking now to Lieutenant Frank Drabin. Yeah. Tell me in the comments if you're also like a Naked Gun or Naked Pistol fans. Yeah. Leslie Nielsen, one of my favorite actors, like great guy. And driver POV, once again here with the real buttons at the steering wheel. This, by the way, here I can control something in the digital instruments, which are clear to read, left side speed. And here on the right side, I can, for example, then check out some consumption data. I can also change the visualization here. Minimalist or map view is also possible. And I can do that all with my right thumb. So that's a cool thing to do here. Then the main infotainment system. Here, this is the main menu. There's also Apple CarPlay, Android Auto available. This is the integration of Apple CarPlay. In Apple CarPlay, I've seen it with a couple of vehicles that it's a little bit less quick in the responsiveness. Then here you have the record button here for the feedback, shown that to you. And then back to the main menu again. For all the settings, you come here and then you can deactivate assistance systems there, for example. Here, that's also very interesting for charging. You can set a limit, but yeah, most of the time for plug-in, you would probably leave it at 100 or maybe 80 to save some more battery or something like that long term. Then here, this is very interesting. You can also retain the battery status. It depends if that's useful or not. Totally depends on the use case, how you use the car. You can also leave it deactivated and then just always deplete the battery first and then go with the petrol engine. Of course, I would wish for a physical climate unit here in the screen. Yeah, it is very large and easy to do that. Still, I'm a fan of the physical climate unit. And here you can activate the seat heating. For seat cooling, you would need the voice activation again, because the way here and then here, see, and then here is too long, especially while driving. Hey Frank,
Hi there.
seat ventilation please.
Sorry, I can't hear you clearly.
Okay.
Please, can you repeat that? I'm sorry, but I can't help you with that right now.
This didn't work, so yeah, that's my point. It needs to be easier accessible. So yeah, maybe they but then the question is like, how much buttons do you want to put here, or maybe one above that? So that would be maybe a better solution for that. And by the way, here when you just press it in without having anything selected here, you can also start or pause the music, and this is also where you can increase or decrease the music volume actually. And gotta say, the 23 speaker Harman Kardon sound system is pretty cool actually. You can also go for some 3D surround mode, pick the different modes. Yeah, this is also something which is more trim, of course, has. And best greetings.
Interior and best greetings.
From Leah as well. Rear seats here inside of the door, or the rear doors, also this honeycomb design and also soft, very nicely done from the interior design here, also with the grab handle. Then also ambient lighting in the rear from the Harman Kardon sound system, or behind that. Also very elegant how this window lever here is integrated. This is the door opener, the electric one, but the manual fail-safe one also very visible, at least just hardback here in the lower part. And also the same materials for the rear with the high-grade perforated leatherette, some Alcantara inserts, very beautiful. Isofix here to fold open. Once again here also very plush and very cool in design with this blue tone. This fits very well to the vehicle, definitely. You could also sit here in the middle part, so it is actually 5 adult proof, because also here from the legroom, a lot of legroom left, headroom with 1A9, 6'2", no problem. So it's really very comfortable and spacious here in the rear. Then you can fold down this one here. You have adaptive cup holders here with a 3-dot design, also very nice high-grade leatherette. So the interior build quality is really astonishing, especially at that price, which we will mention later in the review. Here in the down part, USB-C charger and USB-A charger. You have basically both possibilities, and this floor is also relatively even. Yeah, so this is definitely A+ interior here in the rear, visually and also from the look and feel and from the comfort. Now to the trunk or the boot. Here you have to find the button a little bit. It's kind of small, but in the middle, 540 liters. How does it translate to? And then here, there's no rails on the side for this one. This fits in upright as well. They do have this rubber mat here available. It's a mirror or 40 inches there in width between the wheel arches, wider here in the front part. And this is a rugged thing, of course, if you have some wet stuff and so on, but I can also take it out. Then it looks more premium, this trunk. Underneath here, you can lift it up, and there is a little space for a charging cable. You can squeeze it in there, basically. The height here at the maximum levels, about 28 inches or 72 centimeters. To fold the seats, you have to grab here. I mean, if you have long arms, that is possible, otherwise go around. And then total length here to the seats, so I would be driving, it was like 1.85 meters or 73 inches. Now about driving the Lynk & Co 08, we're heading to the German Autobahn, soon a full acceleration. Which brings me directly to the driving modes, because in the normal startup, the car starts in hybrid mode. I've set here my favorite button to the steering wheel to change the driving modes, what you can do to easily change it, for example. And in this hybrid mode, at the moment, the engine is off. Unless I go full throttle, then it would also hop on. Or I can also switch to the power mode with one press of a button. And this would be then, you can see the RPM go up. So now I have the engine basically pre-activated to get the most power out of it. And one more time, later do that again, I would press and I would go to the pure mode, which is in the pure electric driving. In this case, it always switches through in this order, but you can also select the driving modes in a different way. I can soon show that to you. And now from 50 kilometers an hour with both drivetrains combined, let's go. 130, 150, It's not bad. Ooh, 170, 180, and top speed 100, 188, 189. Oh, that's a little bit more than promised, actually. Very interesting. So the acceleration boost was quite interesting, I have to say. The meter did not go off, so now of cars that accelerate quicker. 6.8 seconds is the official figure, 0 to 100 kilometers an hour. What was very interesting here is this car has 3 gears, and that accounts for the electric driving and it counts for the combustion engine, and that means, you know, there's not too many shifting happening, but when there's a shift happening, I'm not sure if you even saw that in camera, but then it was like, you know, so there was like the shifting itself was very noticeable, and most of the time when you have it like on low power, you won't notice it at all. But here, when you really go full throttle, then you do notice this transition. Also had some play with the steering, so the car guided me a little bit, so to speak. So I have to say, acceleration and then how it handles during the full acceleration, this is something they can really work on. That didn't feel as smooth, because we talked about it earlier, like, hey, you pay like 20,000 euros less than for like a X3 plug-in hybrid and so on. That's, for example, something that an X3 is doing better. But we'll soon also take into account what this hybrid train can do as well. But definitely here, accelerating full throttle and then trying to control the vehicle, yeah, this is something which is not ideal with this vehicle. Interesting here, when I hit the turning indicator, it always appears there where I'm turning. So when I'm turning to the right, I hear this sound more on the right side, and when I turn it to the left, I hear it more on the left side. Why not? The sound itself, yeah, I would honestly change it a little bit to be a little bit more pleasant. Noise insulation wise, here at 130 kilometers an hour, that's fine. I mean, we don't have the dual glazed windows as we shown you earlier, but I think it's actually good insulation. Here about the driving modes, in drive here I can also select, and then I could also go from hybrid directly to pure. But the thing is really here with the hotkey button, it's always in this direction, so then you cannot switch with the hotkey from hybrid to pure.
And you can switch to steering wheel.
Oh, that's a good point from Leah. So yeah, Thomas can have his firm steering feeling, and Leah can have her light steering feeling. That's also a good thing. Yeah, definitely. So this is cool, actually. Yeah, I like when it's a little bit, but the steering feel itself is actually pretty good, and especially now when it's firm. So yeah, I like that. That's actually very cool. And I mean, that can be saved to your user account as well. So Leah can just drive with the light, and I can drive with a firm steering wheel. That's actually pretty decent. And yeah, once again, here 130 kilometers an hour, like 80 miles an hour. This is good motorway speed, and there we can easily drive like this as well. And now you see here RPM 0. I can also really induce that it stays in the EV mode with the pure. What I'm really interested in, how does it drive, or how quick does it drive, how fast does it drive, all electric. And let's see, 140 kilometers an hour. So yeah, you can even drive really fast in the pure EV mode. That's no problem at all, actually. And here the brake blending on the motorway is actually fine. Sometimes I feel in the city that there needs to be a little bit more adjustment with the brake blending between recuperation and the brake pedal. But here on the motorway at higher speeds, it's actually way better. Here, by the way, the indicator, it doesn't like go all the way in, but you just tip it, and then it returns to the original position.
Sometimes.
Like this, yeah.
Sometimes
And then,
not, yeah.
and then in this case, you have to like go in the other way, you know, other direction again to cancel it. Actually, yeah, but you can definitely get used to that. We do have the 21-inch wheels here on the motorway. They're doing fine, definitely. And since I have a little bit firmer ride here with the 21-inch wheels, that's also fine. In the city, can be some comfort losses due to the large wheels. Natural, because you don't have so much dampening from the tire lift. But here on the motorway, it's actually quite good for the handling. And also the stability at higher speeds was fine. So here, for example, when I drive a little bit quicker again, so it feels like a well-built, grown-up SUV, definitely in that case. The only thing told earlier, with the when it's on a full acceleration, they could still tweak like the behavior of the drivetrain. But when you're, let's say, normally using it in everyday use case, it's really smooth. And I also like driving it pure electric actually. And even if you're in a hybrid mode, it kind of prefers the EV mode most of the time. And since you do have significant pure electric range, you can also drive pure EV a lot of the time. Let's see, because we can now drive once again unlimited. I was really interested in the pure EV at higher speeds, and also, if I can significantly accelerate without it being in the engine mode, then yeah, that works. Yeah, it's very interesting, and we don't quite often have that. So a lot of the plug-in hybrids, when they drive pure electric, they have a limited high speed. But here, engine is still not on, and I'm in the pure EV mode, and yeah, 160 kilometers an hour. So there's actually no limit to it. That's
cool.
That's cool, actually. That's really interesting. Yeah, I mean that's a good finding, and I mean, is it really that there's like the same maximum speed? Let's see about that. Yeah, I mean now 170. It's a good highway, high-speed run here for you today. That's why we drive it in good old Germany. And then here, yeah, I can go top speed here, pure EV. That's very interesting. I'm not sure if we ever had that with a plug-in hybrid. That's very interesting. Pretty cool. Yeah, that's a very, very good finding here indeed. Oh, is this truck losing something? Maybe tire blowout or something? That doesn't look good. Coming down, some smoke out of it. I don't know. Seems stable so far. Yeah, and then again, lane change at higher speeds. Feels actually quite solid and stable. Leah? Yeah? It's fine also for the passenger?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is always a good sign as well. So I'm kind of astonished here, because when we were driving in the city, me as a passenger, Lee as a passenger, we said like, yeah, maybe with the big wheels and so on, not that comfortable. Also the chassis movement wasn't that pleasant. But it's actually better here on the motorway at higher speeds. That's a very interesting thing to notice, definitely. These large side mirrors are also very good, by the way, because they don't have this frame around, this large frame, and they give you very good visibility. You also have blind spot monitor, probably saw that popping up also from time to time. And let's also test the assistance systems. So here, left side, we can activate it. So let's see, also can increase or decrease the speed here. And let's see how the car is actively keeping us in the lane. Now the motorway is also bending left slightly. Of course, they can also profit from this Volvo experience. And so far, actually quite smooth. Now it's catching the car in front of us. So you can also here increase or decrease the distance here with my left thumb. So it's good that this, yes, I'm keeping my hands in the steering. Huh? Yeah, it seems to need some movement from time to time here with the steering. Yeah, I think when the distance is decreased a little bit, that's better, and also better for the passenger. Got to say, like, for example, the BMW assistance systems are a little bit more elaborated in how smooth they are from the corrections, but this is already on a very good level, actually. Now I can also cancel it with going on the brake myself. Also really nice from the ambient lighting, right? You know, together with the Harman Kardon sound system, pretty good sound system here as well. Nice ambient, of course, different colors available and so on. So this evening mood Autobahn ride here is something pretty cool for that, and together with the comfortable seats, I mean, I could also very well imagine that we go on a longer road trip now here, right? That's good.
Yes.
And I mean, we also have the panoramic roof, you know. So
It's also nice, yeah.
and this goes, you know, fully open as we showed to you earlier. And usually it would be another source of that is loud, but in this case here it's not. So definitely Autobahn proof. And some city driving. That's why Leah also changed her outfit.
Yes. We went
best
shopping.
service. Yeah, and after shopping actually, when you're stuck in traffic, of course, most of the time here in the pure EV mode, even though I'm in the hybrid mode, so you do not have to be intentionally in the pure mode. You can just drive it on hybrid and let the car do its thing. What's important here, because that's starting already right now, you have to deactivate some of the stuff that doesn't annoy you while driving. And for example, so that's here in the drive menu and then in assist. And then, for example, here the driver alert control deactivation, then the speed limit update reminder, speed limit warning, no alarm. So and then you're actually fine. That's a little bit complicated to do that while driving, and you have to do it each time new again. That's why talk to the product manager. They want to introduce it here that you just swipe from above, that they just put the symbols here, because there you can pick different symbols. You can also, for example, just slightly open the sunroof with that. So that's possible, but that's like, like just a tilt function. I think they should have the real opening function there. But they said this will come then with the software update, that some of the things that you use more often are easier available then. In city traffic here, it's also nice to drive silent with the EV mode. And the 21-inch wheels are fine unless there are some fierce potholes and so on. Then it's a little bit rough. And I would wish I would have the base version with 9-inch wheels. Then again, this top trim level here with the seat ventilation and the elaborated sound system also is of course pretty cool, and it's not much more expensive. That's the thing. Yeah, and with the brake blending, so you have to learn a little bit. The brake is kind of sensitive, but as soon as you get used to it, that's actually fine. And the steering, once again, is really cool, very natural it feels. And as we showed to you on the motorway part, you can also adjust the steering how you like it, if you want a little bit firmer or softer and so on. So yeah, the only downside is maybe potholes with these 21-inch wheels. Besides that, suspension once again is a quite good comfort between sportiness and comfort. Although there is no special adaptive air suspension and so on, elaborate suspension, the thing they have in here does a good job actually. And it's not the smallest vehicle, also not the super largest ones, so you also get along in the city quite well. The blind spot monitor is helpful. I think I had it deactivated in the motorway part, found out later. Now I activated it, and the blind spot monitor is also very visible in the side mirror, so it's another good help. You can also, and that is a setting that is saved actually, you can also set it that it is with an alarm or just the visual part. I've set it to only the visual part. See from one of, yeah, there it is. So that's a cool thing definitely to have that one. So yeah, you definitely feel that they also have the Volvo experience here in this vehicle. Now the road is a little bit uneven, then you have the little bit bumpy side from 21-inch wheels. But besides that, it's nice city driving as well. And here of course the upright seating position and the comfortable seats.
Here
yeah.
City, yeah.
Good point from Leah once again. We heard it on the motorway, it's silent and then gives you overall a very calming atmosphere in this vehicle. Now about our consumption test and also the pricing. This is also a super interesting part. So first of all, when you drive only the petrol engine when the battery is empty, even then you can get some advantages by recuperation from the battery, but you have to calculate with some 8 to 9 liters on 100 kilometers. So like 27 mpg US or like 34 mpg UK. Then if you drive it combined, it's hard to say. It always depends how often you recharge and so on, so you cannot really give a good estimate for that. But we can tell you what does it consume all electric in the pure EV mode. And then there's a wide divergence between lower speed, city and moderate speeds on the Autobahn, and higher speeds where it's not ideal to use the pure electric drive. That's why also in the hybrid mode, it's often that you go faster on the motorway, the combustion engine is used, and in the city, the electric drivetrain is used. That's also making it quite efficient overall. That's like the idea behind it. And then you could theoretically also use this battery safe mode, as I said earlier, but maybe not. It also depends on the use case. For example, here in Germany, we would probably rather drive electric as long as possible, then recharge again, unless we really floor it out on the Autobahn. Because in the test, 100 kilometers an hour, 60 miles an hour, the electric consumption was about 14.5 kilowatt hours on 100 kilometers. So like 4 miles per kilowatt hour. Means, in that case, this would even have an all-electric range of 280 kilometers or about, it's like 160 miles. That's astonishing, actually. However, then only 20 kilometers per hour more, like at 120 kilometers per hour, so it's like 70 miles per hour, it's double the electric consumption. That means half of the range. So we were there at about 28 kilowatt hours on 1 kilometers, or like 2 miles per kilowatt hour. Means then at 120 kilometers an hour on the motorway, this one only has an electric range of about 140 kilometers or like 80 miles. Very interesting. And I really did this test like 3 times in a row because I couldn't believe it. Yeah, because it's quite efficient, up to 100 kilometers an hour, 60 miles an hour. But then the all EV usage at really, really high speeds doesn't make any sense. And that's why, again, I think it's so important to know as a customer that you can use it very well for city driving, countryside driving, and for moderate motorway speeds. In most countries this will be the case. Not everyone is driving on German Autobahn, right? But if you do like high speed or maybe even like 130 kilometers an hour already, then it's better to use the combustion engine and or maybe trust the hybrid system that it does that automatically. Or then again, you could say, hey, you use this battery safe mode to be more efficient in the city later on and have the engine also as a generator for the battery on the motorway. So you have to find the ideal use case for you in that case. But very interesting to have these findings here today for you. Pricing in Europe here, 56,000 euros it starts. That's amazing for the size of the battery. And in the high trim, as we have it here now, 60,000 euros. And that's still at least 20,000 euros less expensive. For example, the BMW X3 plug-in hybrid, the Mercedes GLC PHEV is usually even more expensive. So a very good price-performance ratio. And you have to say, the interior quality is even better than with the German competition. So this one was my favorite here about this car today. The interior build quality, really cool. So then you have to ask yourself, why would you still buy a German competitor to this one? When you accelerate very hard, we've shown that to you in the driving part, the Germans are more controllable, in the power delivery, power output, and that you're also not getting pulled from the front wheels. This was not the specialty about this vehicle. Also, like the body roll, how you feel as a passenger in the vehicle, the driving dynamics. This is better with the Germans. Also a similar thing that we always find with Volvo. No wonder, all from the Geely Corporation. It's not the main focus of this vehicle to be dynamic and super much fun in driving. That's what the Germans can still do better. But if you then look at the price-performance ratio, especially here this thing, hey, you don't want to go all electric yet, but already want a large plug-in hybrid battery in this SUV, then it is a very astonishing price-performance ratio, especially considering this great interior build quality. So a very interesting ride here for you today. I would like to know your feedback, or then also if you took a test ride yourself, and also how you rate this vehicle to the competitors. And if you want to see a similar vehicle, all electric, this might be the Zeekr 7X, or if you rather want to take a look at the Germans again, they are right here.